Hello, my name is Chuck, and normally I try to keep an upbeat, fantastic attitude, but this is one of the few videos where I can't. This one requires empathy, and upbeat and happy is not something that you necessarily want to have whenever you're dealing with the death of a loved one. Let's go through and talk about it. Your loved one recently passed. You have bills that are coming in from a credit card company, and you need some time to go through and do grieving. Suddenly you have hoops to jump through, and you don't know what to do. First and foremost, I want to say condolences on your loss. It is never easy to lose a loved one. I lost my last living grandmother and mother in the same year, so I can only imagine what you are going through. First and foremost, you need to find out what you need. Check with loved ones and close relatives to figure out what sort of things what accounts that you have and places that you'll need to send things. Plus side is most places will send bills to you and you can go through and check bills. If it's a twilight and you are coming on to the piece and you need to go through and let your loved ones know, make them a list. Nothing is more of a blessing than going through and having a list of everything that needs to go through and get shut down once you do pass. If you can, that is a great gift to ease the transition of no longer being around. If you don't have that, not a problem. Just go through and figure out what places that you need. There are some useful tips that you can go through and do so. One of the things that I will say is if you are an account manager or a co-owner on an account, it's pretty easy to go through and deal with. You just call up the company as the co-owner and go through and work on getting them removed. You can tastefully do so. It's pretty easy to do. It's just you will need copies of the death certificate to go through and make sure the account is properly shut down. Don't call in and say, I want to shut this down. Just let them know, hey, I would like to get my spouse, for example, removed from my card. So you do want to make sure that you have copies of the death certificate available. Now, if you are not a co-owner or an account manager, you will need to go through and do things a little bit more tricky. There's two routes you can do. First and foremost, you can go through and send in copies of the death certificate. This will get the account closed, but you may not hear back from them because of Regulation P, they cannot go through and disclose to someone who is not the account owner on the account whether they had an account or not. So you will want to go through and send it in. You can send in a letter just letting them know what's going on. The second option is called a Letter of Testamentary. Is a document provided by a probate court to the executor of estate of a deceased person's account to carry out the deceased's will. Note that none of this video is actual legal or financial advice. These are just my recommendations on getting things moving in the right direction. I highly recommend speaking to a lawyer on this just because they can give you a better idea on how to go through and get these processes done. A letter of testamentary can go through and get any benefits that were on the card applied to any of the will. Say, for example, you've got some reward points, they can get them applied. Most companies will have an exception to points that are non-transferable to be transferred into someone else's account. Just talk to the company and make sure to do so. Those are your two options, just a death certificate or the letter of testamentary and a death certificate. The other thing I would highly recommend doing is use USPS priority mail, because they're one of the few companies that can actually deliver to P.O. boxes. And most companies, whenever they're asking for documents, will require them to be mailed to them. And priority offers the peace of mind of having a tracking number that you can go through and associate with. Plus, if you ever have questions on whether they received the document or not, you can always give them a tracking number and be like, this is my tracking number. Please go through and get this taken care of. It allows the peace of mind of knowing that things are at least processing or where things are going. Most places will require at least 7 to 10 business days to go through and get things processed. Each company is different. Just ask. Anyway, I hope that you never have to use this video, but if you do, I hope this helps ease your transition. My name is Chuck. I hope you have an amazing day. Stay safe. Please like and subscribe to this video if you want more content. I hope you have an amazing day and stay safe.